Cells, tissues, organs, systems. Let's get started. These are cells, the tiny building blocks of life. You, me, slugs, buttercups, we're all made of cells. All living things are made of hundreds and hundreds, in fact, millions and billions, trillions of cells. Let's take an even closer look. These are animal cells. They're different to plant cells, as you'll see later on. Every single animal cell, which includes every cell in your body, has three main parts. First, you have the cell membrane. It holds the cell together and controls which substances can get in and out. This slimy jelly stuff is called cytoplasm. This is where all the chemical reactions take place. And finally, we have the nucleus. This contains chromosomes made up of DNA, the genetic code that controls what happens in the cell. The DNA also carries the information that gets passed from one generation to the next. Humans are multicellular animals. That means we have different kinds of cells to do different kinds of jobs. Bone cells, brain cells, skin cells, eye cells. First, find a male reproductive cell, otherwise known as a sperm cell. It's good at swimming. Yeah, there they are. There are plenty of them. The average male produces 10,000 sperm a day. Next, we're after a neuron. Here's a hint. It's a funny shape. Yup. Neurons are cells that carry nerve impulses around our bodies, so we know what's going on and where. Now find a female reproductive cell. You might also know it as an egg or ovum. That's them. Eggs are much bigger than sperm, but there are a lot less of them. Next, I want you to find the blood cell that carries oxygen around your body. Yep, those are the red blood cells. There are millions of them whizzing around inside you. Take a look at this thing. It's called a tissue. It's a group of cells with a similar structure that work together to do the same job. Muscles are made up of tissues, including the most important muscle in the body. Turn the dial to zoom out and see what we're looking at here. Yes, this is the human heart. It's an organ of the body made up of different tissues, including muscle tissue. The tissues in an organ all work together to do their job. Recognize this? Yes, it's a brain. It's a pretty important organ in most people. It also uses groups of tissues to do its work. It's these tissues that control most of what's going on in our bodies. The brain receives information as nerve impulses and neurons. That information then gets organized, and more nerve impulses are sent out to the tissues and organs in the body. This is what keeps everything running smoothly. Click on the brain to get it working. The brain is also part of a system. A system is the name for a group of organs which work together to do a particular job. Here you can see the nervous system. And here's another one, the respiratory system. The respiratory system draws oxygen into the body. Just like animals, this plant is full of cells. And also like animals and humans, plants have their own organ systems. The transport system, for example, which transports water and food around the plant. Zoom in for a close. The transport system is made up of different organs. Leaves and roots are both plant organs, working together as part of the transport system. Plant organs, just like animal organs, are made up of different tissues. This leaf is a plant organ. Slice it open to see what's going on inside. The veins in the leaf are made up of different types of tissue. We've got the xylem that carries water and the phloem that carries the food. Okay, so, leaves are made up of tissues, and tissues are made up of cells. But what are the plant cells made of? This is a standard plant cell. It looks similar to an animal cell, but it's definitely not built the same way. When you put it side by side with an animal cell, you can see that it's got everything the animal cell's got, but with some extras. Click on something the plant cell has that the animal cell doesn't. Plants have this extra thick cell wall that supports and protects the cell. Click on something else the plant cell has that the animal cell doesn't. These little things are chloroplasts. This is where photosynthesis takes place in the cell. Chloroplasts contain a green chemical called chlorophyll. That's why plants are green. Click on something else the plant cell has that the animal cell doesn't. This is the vacuole. It contains a liquid called sap, which keeps the cell nice and firm. Time for a refresh. Cells are the basic building blocks for life, for all animals and plants. Cells can form tissues. Tissues are groups of cells working together to do the same job. So muscle cells form muscle tissue, and nerve cells, otherwise known as neurons, form nervous tissue. Organs, like the lungs, the heart, and the brain, are made from groups of different tissues. Organ systems are made up of a group of different organs, all working together on a particular job. For example, you get the circulatory system, the nervous system, and the respiratory system. Okay, it's time for the third degree. Question 1. What is the job of the cell membrane? A. To control what substances go into and out of the cell. B. To store genetic information. C. To control what happens inside the cell. Question 2. What sort of information does the nucleus carry? A. Genetic. B. Digital. C. Written. Question 3. What sort of structure is the heart? A. A tissue. B. An organ. C. An organ system. Question 4. What is the job of the nucleus? A. To control what substances go into and out of the cell. B. To act as the brain of the cell. C. To control what happens inside the cell. Question 5. What does the tissue xylem carry? A. Food. B. Water. C. Oxygen. Question 6. Where does photosynthesis take place? A. In the chloroplast. B. In the cell wall. C. In the nucleus. Full marks, very impressive.